Howdy, howdy. Can everybody hear me or anybody at all? Yeah, again, I'm still learning my way through all this stuff, so bear with me here. Hey, Shift, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll give it a few more minutes here, maybe, and let some others get in here. Hopefully, they'll show up. I don't know, I guess mixed expectations here since I'm so new at this, but I'm glad for the people that did show up. How's it going, Dusty, AJ? So I just got back from the store and on my way home from doing some field work. Hey Tamara, and man, the shelves were pretty full, other than some coffee creamer that was depleted. But other than that, oh sorry, I wasn't sure how to actually do that, Lake, but appreciate you letting me know. I do shift. So again, I'm learning my way through this stuff. So, please be patient. All you veterans that are, good at this stuff, do this all the time. So apologies if I bore you, but, again, I'm not sure about all the nuances and etiquette and things like that involved with YouTube, and I'm not a techie, so I appreciate all the help and everything and advice that people give me. And like I said, the store that I went to, oh, you, yeah, it'll probably happen, AJ. But like I said, I appreciate all the help I can get, and I'm new at this stuff. So if I, do something wrong or don't do something exactly correct, it's not intentional. Or if I miss somebody, acknowledging somebody, apologies in advance. But hey, Bigfoot, how are you, bud? But the shelves look pretty good. Gases, I just paid $2.99, and it's kind of been there for the past several months. It's creeped up a little bit. If I go out west Texas, it creeps up a little bit, up to around 330 sometimes. But for the most part, our shelves are in pretty good shape. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get to the video or the live here about what I wanted to talk about. And I've talked about a couple of these books before. Hey, Farmer Son. And these are just my opinion on these books. And again, these are SHTF based books, not necessarily, fiction, or anything like that. So these are primarily centered around, SHTF and the current environment, climate that we find ourselves in. And so I've put these also in the description. So if you want to look at them there, if you don't, if you catch this, can't catch all this live, you can go in the description and see them there. And of course, these are 5 books, and plus the Bible. I've got one. I'm sure all of y'all have one, and those that don't have one need to get one quick and read it. But I'm not going to here to pontificate. These are 5 of my picks as far as SHTF books go on top of the Bible. Okay. The first one is by a gentleman by the name of Gavin De Becker. Now, Gavin De Becker was and is, I still think, one of the primary professional bodyguard companies based out of LA. And they were doing it long before a lot of other people were. And this guy has like full-time people. And we're talking about people like, Oprah, all these VIPs and heavy hitters. Hey, Okie J. Hey, Simon. Anyway, a lot of heavy hitters, right? And he protected them and still does today. I think he's basically retired or may have sold the company, but nevertheless, he put out a book, his first book in a series of books called The Gift of Fear by Gavin De Becker. And it's really good. It's really good for everybody, quite honestly, but it's really a good book for people that just haven't woke up yet. It's a good book for, like I said, for all of us to read, but it'll really grab you and it'll wake you up and you will look at the world differently after you read this book from him. But it's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin De Becker. And he's got, like I said, a couple more books sort of in a series that kind of go a little bit deeper each time. But this is a good start. And I really highly recommend this book for especially single females that maybe just aren't there yet, or maybe need to get woken up a little bit with regard to the world. The second one, and these aren't in any particular order, really. I just, grab these based on, again, SHTF and the likelihood that we may need to utilize them. The Ultimate Survival Medicine Guide. This is a pretty new book. It's written by a physician, as you can see, and it's got everything from first aid to dental, wound care, fractures, dislocations. Anyway, it's a really cool book, and I'm glad I got it. I have other first aid books, but they're a little bit more specific. A book on, antibiotics or wound specific or breaks or things like that. So anyway, this is sort of an all-encompassing book on survival medicine. And, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a pretty cool book. Hey, KDP. Again, appreciate everybody showing up. I really do. It's my first time to do this. And another one I have here, number 3, is basically sort of my God, if you had to really bug out, you could at least forage and make ends meet, most likely. But it's called the Hunting and Gathering Survival Manual. It's by Tim MacWelch. Yeah, Tim MacWelch. But anyway, it talks about gathering, obviously, natural, wild-grown vegetables, and flowers and plants. They're edible. Obviously, you got to be careful with all that stuff with regard to, poisons and mushrooms and such like that. But there's a lot of you all that know a lot more about that type of stuff than I do. My situation is a little bit different. Where if I do end up having to evacuate and leave, the vegetation where I'm heading is very slim to none. But we all have different terrain and different things that grow natural. Where we're at, really all you're going to have is basically mesquite beans, prickly pears, and whatever you can get to grow is about what you're going to have. However, hopefully everybody, has thought that through and has a plan on that. I know a lot of you will like this book, and I got this for Christmas, and I thought this was a really, really cool book to get. And so I didn't go out and buy this. Somebody gave this to me, but I wanted to show it. And it's the Prepper's Canning Guide. Again, a subject I know very little about. And I'm sort of a hands-on learner, so I'm more, I want to try to find somebody, in my family or a close friend that I can actually go there and do the stuff. And hey, Copycat, do this stuff and learn it myself hands-on, because it's just one of those things that it's a skill. It's an acquired skill, like anything else, but such an important skill to have. Anyway, I thought this was a really cool book, and it just sort of goes into all things canning, from sanitizing your equipment and jars to actually the finished product, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool, a pretty cool gift, quite honestly, and very appreciative to get it. Now, my final book that I have to show, and again, these are all on the description page. And I've talked about this book before, and I'm going to try to show a little bit of it here on the live, but it's called the Pocket Reference Book by Thomas J. Glover. Sorry if my camera's not doing too well, maybe too much light, but this is a little pocket reference. And let me tell you something, this thing is like Google on a book. I'm not kidding you. It's amazing. You can get them online through Harbor Freight, or sometimes at the stores they have them. They run about $15-20. They're a little pricey, but my gosh, I mean, this little thing is packed so full of information. And if you were just looking for one book that you had to throw into a backpack and that was it, other than the Bible, I mean, this would probably be it for me. I mean, it goes into like air and gases, right? And it even goes into just different measurements and, automotive care, right? Fasteners, different kind of fasteners for different types of materials. General information, just whatever, Even goes into volumes, shapes, volumes, cylinders, geometry, all this sort of cool stuff if you're trying to build something or, make something, whatever the case might be. These even goes into different types of knots. But if I had to pick just one book from here on out, other than the Bible, this is probably it, to be quite honest with you. It's just so full of information that it's impressive. I mean, this guy had his stuff together, to be quite honest. I think he's a retired engineer or something. Goes into different ratios of this and that, surveying and mapping, Even has military rank. It even goes into, sign language. But just a really cool book that, man, this guy, he was sharp. He had his stuff together for sure. Electronics. So anyway, it's the Pocket Reference Guide by Thomas J. Glover. Like I said, I think he's a retired engineer. But yeah, Simon, yeah, that's a good move on that for getting that. Man, that's awesome. I think this book would really be handy for everybody, that's into prepping. It's be a great gift for a birthday or a stocking stuffer. I found it by accident, in Harbor Freight one day, just kind of milling around, and that's how I found it. But I really think it's so cheap and so packed full of info that, man, you'd really it's kind of a no-brainer, quite honestly, to me, in my opinion anyway. But anyway, thanks, Bigfoot. I appreciate that. So anyway, I haven't really paid attention to the news too much today, but from what I understood overnight, there's not a whole lot of progress was made with the Russians. But what have you guys heard? Anybody know anything on that? I said I had to go to a job today, so I didn't really get much. Didn't listen to much as far as news went. I did hear that Fauci stepped in it again. I don't know if I can say that word or not, but apparently he stepped in it pretty good at the Senate today, from what I understand. I've had the C-19. It's not a fun trip, but I think I'm kind of turning the corner with it, hopefully. It was pretty rough for a couple of days, and then, hey, God Soldiers, how you doing, brother? Appreciate you showing up. But yeah, it's a mess. I mean, we've got to get our stuff solidified and put away and stack it even further, because with I saw Lake's video about the internment camps up in Washington, and that was pretty freaky. But I have no doubt at all that that's part of the plan, and I fully expect overreach, further overreach, and tyranny to come our way, because this current, government knows that they can't do this thing straight up anymore. They have to have a reason for mail-in voting. And I'm not trying to get political with this thing, but I think everything from denial of therapeutics to the slow roll of the testing, okay, why there's so much more they could have done to help us out, and they refuse to do it. And you have to ask the question, why? Why is that? Hey, Survival Buzz. Sorry if I missed anybody in the chat too. I'm trying to acknowledge everybody that I see. If I missed you, I certainly apologize. But anyway, yeah, it's they know that this thing can't be done legit. I firmly believe that. And they don't even act like they care. I mean, it's like, look at the VP. I mean, she's just running around giggling and doing whatever, and because she knows something we don't know. She's not a dumb person, but she is shrewd, and they have, I'm sure, plenty of evil people around them. And it's all about power, greed, power, greed, and control. And I think that we got rough times ahead. Rough times ahead. I have no doubt in my mind that that's the case. And I hope that every one of you is, on board with doing the things that need to get done, spiritually and otherwise. But there's just a lot of balls in the air, a lot of irons in the fire, as we like to say down here. And I think this group of amateurs that's running the show right now, if you want to call it that, are very dangerous people. Very, very dangerous people, because they don't know what they don't know. Like a lot of you, like me, I know that I need to go out and I need to shoot more. I know that I need to do that. I know that I'm weak on that. And but I know that. Hey, Mashad, good to see you, bud. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they don't know, and that's what makes them dangerous. If you have come to the realization that you need help in a particular area, or you need to get better in a particular area, but that, that's a huge motivational tool that you should use to get better. It's not easy for everybody, and it's not affordable for everybody to do the things that are required to be a straight up full-fledged prepper, and be covered in all areas, all sides. But you still got to try, but knowing what you don't know is a good first step, and don't be afraid to ask people for help. And that's one of the reasons I picked these books the way I did, is because somebody could take these books and read them and be better off, and not just for drama or fiction purposes, but real life applications. I think we have to be able to apply what we learn in real life, and it has to be practical, and it has to be relative, it has to be interesting, because people just don't do things if they're not interested in it. But anyway, I not been on all the streams that I've wanted to be on just because I've had the Rona and not doing too good. I've like I said, I think I've turned the corner, and hopefully it'll stay that way. But I think that having gone to the little ranch this weekend, I feel a lot better about where we are with our current, situation out there. Some of y'all have seen the video that I did. I think I called it the compound or something like that. And it's a nice little place. It's not perfect by any means, but we are every time we go out. This particular last weekend, we had 13 people there, and that was all family members. And we were able to knock a bunch of mesquite wood out and stack a bunch of wood, clean up, get things good things situated in a better position for the group, because we never know, we might have to go there, and it sure as hell wouldn't be easy, but it's doable. The climate's really tough out in West Texas, and it's just something you have to learn to deal with. You got to look for shade. You want to, anytime you build something, you want to do it around as much shade as possible. Hey, thanks, Lake. I appreciate that. Hope you feel better too. But you know, there's a lot of evil out there, and there's a lot of people that are looking for targets of opportunity, and you see it on the news every day. You saw the drive-through or the fast food murder in New York over the weekend. I mean, my God, it's just evil. It's nothing. It's no other way to put it. And it looked like the kid was complying with the perp's demands. But this goes to show you that you don't ever know when your incident's going to take place. And I don't want to get this over into a rant, about current topics, but I think it's important that people really wake up. And that's why I think that, people need to read this book. People need to read this book. I really recommend it. And, I'm former military, former law enforcement, and it's something that I even value. And I know how bad the world is, like most of you probably know. But you just don't ever get to, you don't really get a do-over, and you need to be prepared to you need to have the ability to defend yourself with lethal force should it come to that. Oh, I got you, Lake. Yes, Simon, exactly. I never leave home without a firearm. And I'm most likely, if I'm in my vehicle, I've got two. I've got a long gun and I've got my, CCW. And I'm not saying that to be braggadocious. What I'm saying is that I definitely don't have faith in humanity, for the most part. Again, we don't get to pick the time and place of our incident. It's going to pick us, unfortunately. And you need to be in a position where you can, defend yourself, with lethal force should it come to that. And remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Having said that, it does matter where you defend yourself nowadays. I mean, look what happened to those poor folks in St. Louis or Rittenhouse. Yeah, he made some poor decisions. That kid did. Probably if he had a do-over, he probably would have changed some things up. But that's part of being young and dumb. However, it doesn't change the fact that he had the right to do so, and he had the right to defend himself, and he did. And that's important that he had that opportunity and the wherewithal to make those fast choices that he had to make. He probably would be dead otherwise. And so I'll tell a little story. I think I told this story on somebody else's live before, but a couple of years ago, my grandmother, she and a bunch of her friends would get together and they would play bridge once a week. Well, one of their friends was on the way over or leaving or going home or whatever direction it was, but she stopped to get gas, and she put her card in, started filling up the tank, and then just was standing there kind of by the pump and had her, kind of facing the building. And the attendant came on the speaker, the intercom, and said, ma'am, on pump number whatever it was, please come inside. There's a problem with your credit card. But, she's pumping the gas. She says, well, that's weird. So she didn't really think much about it. She just said, okay, well, I'll go and check it out. So she walks in, and he goes, the reason I called you in here is because while you had your back turned to your car, somebody slipped in your back seat without your knowledge, and the police are on the way. And so police came, arrested the perp, and he was basically there for a gang initiation killing. He's going to kill a little lady for, just for gang purposes. And so, see you guys, soldiers. Thanks for coming by. So anyway, stories like that, I mean, that's got to wake people up. I mean, that's just crazy. And it's not going to get any better. I don't think that it's going to go back to the way that we had it before. I really don't. I think that and I hope it does, don't get me wrong, but I think that the public schools have had such a chokehold on the youth, socially and otherwise, educationally, that they've got them on autopilot. And I think that, now they vote. And that in combination with the shenanigans that will likely be played in the form of mail-in voting, I think we know the rest of the story there. But, it is what it is. And, I think we just need to wake up, and I'm not saying anything that other people don't say. But you got that right, Kathy. We have to work as a group and be cognizant rather of the our area, our 360 around us, whether you're traveling or walking or picking up a prescription or whatever. The ATM, if you're going to a drive-up ATM at night, man, unless you've got some armed person with you, I would be really careful in doing that. I think that I would pick my times more wisely if possible. I would pick my spots to avoid trouble at all costs. I would use better judgment, in making those decisions. Now, sometimes people don't have a choice. I get it. But we really ought to be more diligent with our decision making on places we go, when and where. Can it wait till tomorrow during daylight hours in the morning when all the fools are asleep, from doing their stuff the night before? You never know. I mean, you just don't know. And I put a long gun in my vehicle probably about 3 years ago, and it's not my best scatter gun, because if it gets stolen, then I don't want that loss to hit me too hard. But it's definitely functional, and it'll definitely work. And it's something heavier than a handgun to get me out of a jam should it come to that. Completely hidden, completely out of plain view. Nobody's going to know it's there, unless they go poking around. And in the dark, they're sure not going to know it's there. But I would seriously, implore people to consider that option, especially with regards to, roads being blocked, you having the potential to be out in the boonies with, just one of these is not real good. I think, you want to have something a little bit heavier than that. Good for your grandson, Copycat. I like that. My school district in my area currently, isn't, you know, insane yet, but you know, it's creeping up this way. And yeah, good idea, farmer son. Definitely lock your doors and windows, people, especially when you're traveling. And being at home is one thing, but don't forget to do it while you're on the road. You really have to change your posture, everybody. You know, I even get sloppy sometimes, and I know better, but I'll even catch myself getting sloppy, you know, and I'll, uh, off chance that I get discombobulated or, you know, for whatever reason, and I run out of the house. I don't care if it's to check the mail. I usually have a firearm on me. I'll tell you something else, and we've talked about it before. Hey, Mountain Grandma, thanks for showing up. Tell you something else. Um, if you don't have a peephole or a smart camera on your door, you need to try to find a way to get one. And I don't know how people live without peepholes where they can't see out their front door. I don't get that one at all. It's crazy. I'm like, my gosh, that would just make me, feel so vulnerable if that was the case. But people just open the door, you know, without knowing who's there or what's going on. And you know, I'll tell people I have a big no soliciting sign in my flower bed. When somebody walks up, they actually cannot miss it unless they're completely blind. And you know, I'll say, you know, if they ring the bell, I mean, unless it's a cop, I'll get on the microphone and say, "What are you doing here? Do you not see the sign? I'm not interested." You know, and the good thing about those smart, you know, the rings and such is that you can do it from afar. You don't have to be home, but you can certainly talk to them as you are home. You know, when you respond. But anyway, I don't have a whole lot else to add for this video unless you guys just want to keep on rolling here with topics, current topics and situations. But I really wanted to go over those books with everybody. And like I said, if you missed it, the book titles and the writers are in the description of this video. That's right, Lake. Never answer the door, lolly dolly. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, dogs are great too. But anyway, I know there's other lives coming on. So anyway, I just wanted to, you know, get this one out of my system. Oh, the fifth book, Simon, is the pocket reference. You've already got it. But I definitely recommend this one to everybody for sure. All these books are good books. A lot of you are great on canning and things like that anyway. So try to have something for everybody. But if I could only have one other than the Bible, this is it right here. Okay, this is it, because it's got too much good information in it. And it's by Thomas J. Glover. But anyway, thank y'all for showing up. I appreciate it. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'll come up with some better stuff down the road, but I appreciate the mods showing up and helping me out. I appreciate all of you showing up and participating. And please spread the word. I'll try to get better at this, and you guys and gals can help me along the way. But again, I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you next time. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.